And also in the future, I'd like to do a drinking game to take a shot every time they mention the key. I will probably be gonzo by the end of this because that was just the first thing I thought of doing afterwards, is to take a shot every time they said the key. So join me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Candid Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMX ND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This movie is directed by Christopher McQuarrie. We have Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Haley Atwell, Vanessa Kirby, Issei Morales, and Carrie Elwes is also in this. We have lovely Rebecca Ferguson as well. This cast was awesome. I had so much fun watching this movie from beginning to end. This is an anxiety-inducing thrill ride. And when I mean that, I mean action set pieces that just flow into the conversations that are necessary to understand who is who, the characters in place, trying to find this key. Two halves of one key. That's all this is. Okay? Two halves of one key come together to unlock something. They do not know the location of what the key unlocks. But the important thing here is that it deals with AI. It deals with advanced technology, and you felt the threat more so in this movie than any other Mission Impossible film. And you're probably like, but everything feels like threatening and that it's going to be the end of the world. No. Okay? Because we understand, our generation understands how bad the tech can get. Okay? We get it. This was scary. This was next level terrifying, showing you the possibilities of AI and what it can do into hacking computers, into hacking our phones, into hacking literally anything. Satellites, earpieces, all of that stuff. It can manipulate, it can distort faces, it can make anyone disappear. All right? That's what we get in Dead Reckoning. And it's also more of a very clear throwback to the first Mission Impossible in regarding to camera angles. And I really like that McQuarrie did that, especially with Kittredge coming back. There are like tilt ups. He turns the camera to the side to kind of reflect what De Palma did in the first Mission Impossible, to give someone that familiarity of like, we know who Kittredge is. We kind of know what's happening here. And I like that they have that little nod. And I probably wouldn't have caught that if I didn't like marathon this entire franchise before watching this. So there's little things like that. I just like the fact that it was non-stop action. There's some great action set pieces here that go on for such a long time with little to no dialogue, but you're strapped in with them. This one, personally, has the best stunts out of the franchise. I don't know what the hell they're doing in part 2, but part 1 was jam-packed. Like, I could not breathe. My back was sweating. Like, take Top Gun Maverick. Okay, the very ending, the last like I think 20 minutes when they have to go do the actual flight route after practicing for that long, like the actual mission, the sweat that you felt there times 10 the entire movie across the board, if you guys know what I'm saying. There are many characters in play here. You have Vanessa Kirby returning as the White Widow, who is acting as a broker for these keys. Okay, she also wants money, but more importantly, she wants the safety. She wants the security. If I give you these keys, you have to make sure that I remain safe. I'm going to be screwed. Everyone's coming after me. So that is what Vanessa Kirby is involved in here. Then my favorite sequence, and it's going to lead to a whole bunch of things in this movie. My favorite sequence is the airport chase. The airport is something that you have an introduction to the technology, which scares the living daylights out of Luther, okay, of all people, and of Benji, while Ethan is dealing with something else. So there's like 2 separate missions happening in this airport. And what needs to happen is that Ethan has to plant a tracker on the person who has the key. Very simple, has one half of the key because they have the other half of the key. So what they need to do to find a match is put the keys together, clearly. But that's very hard to do since people are like, they're coming after you. IMF's going after Ethan. And then they have this other group of people working with this guy named Gabriel, who's played by Issei Morales. And he comes in. They're all at this airport. More importantly, we meet Grace. She is played by Haley Atwell. She plays a little thief. She has no idea what the hell she's stealing. Bringing in elements from MI2, which I really liked, as per usual, she steals it. Ethan's after her, keeps tabs on her. This whole thing is hilarious at the same time because Luther is trying to send the IMF on a goose chase. So he's manipulating faces on the screen. So whoever's on like comms on IMF side, they're trying to track Ethan at the same time that Luther's trying to change the faces. So he's sending IMF on a goose chase, but they're getting smarter. And then they bring more agents in and Luther's unable to actually like stay on track because the AI is rapidly changing the code that he's doing. So it's taking like more time for him to hack. Okay. But the AI is just getting in there within seconds right after. So it's crazy. While that's happening, Benji notices that there is a bomb. Okay. And he has to defuse it without telling Ethan. So all this is happening in the airport. I'm not saying anything too spoilery, but this entire thing shows just how connected they all are to each other. So that was one action set piece. Then the whole thing with Grace, I love Haley Atwell, don't get me wrong. Okay. The way that her story unfolds here is what's making me second guess the rating that I'm going to give this at the end of this video. And I was playing around with it. That is the only thing. Her fate in this is something that I didn't see coming, but the more I think about it, the more I understand the decision that was made. So again, I'm not trying to spoil this thing because it's very important that you watch this going in blind. It's just a few things that I didn't really like there, but the car chases, there's two car chases and they run together. Really fun stuff. It's hilarious because you see that Tom Cruise, and this is the first time I have to say that you see Ethan Hunt a bit older, a bit tired of doing what he has to do here to save the world. You can tell that he's just worn out with all the BS that happens to him constantly. And the fact that Gabriel is in play here, Esai Morales is in play, really just stings a bit for him, and you'll find out why. So he is a mess. We have a highly emotional Ethan Hunt and can turn to an irrational Ethan Hunt very quickly if he doesn't get it done the way he wants. So we have that. I love that there's a yellow Fiat in this movie. Okay. I love this car chase within car chase. I thought it was very smart. I love that they were in handcuffs doing this as well. Really incredible stuff. Again, Tom Cruise is driving. A king. Like amazing work there. So we have that action set piece, like just seamless transitions into the conversations. We have the similar, like, okay, we're going to like do this plan, but it's more of like, we're just going to keep showing you stuff. There's very little dialogue in regards to those scenes. But when we do get the dialogue, it's a very intense meetup in Venice with like the White Widow, with Gabriel, with Ethan, with Ilsa, with Grace. Like you have everybody in play here because Grace still doesn't give up the key. So Ethan's like, okay, cool. We're using you now because you're just this dumb. You still won't give it to us and we're trying to protect you. Like it was a whole thing with that. So there is an incredible moment in Venice and you'll understand when you watch it where it pinpoints the ultimate fear of what AI is capable of. And Ethan understands that this is way above anything that he's ever done. And you see him scared for the very first time. You see Luther scared and you see Benji scared. And this is what AI is capable of. Absolutely insane work here. Like I was on the verge of tears because I'm like, what is he gonna do? So there is a meeting on the train the next day. And that one is really intense. The whole sequence lasted, I think the last, I'd say half hour, 45 minutes. It felt like the last half hour, 45 minutes of this thing, but it probably wasn't. Okay. The last section with the runaway train, I was sweating. Okay. Insane what they did with the train cars. Okay. The angles for this to show like them dangling there. It's in the trailer. I'm not spoiling them dangling there. Like the upper body strength that they had to get up there, like I can't even explain to you this train sequence. Phenomenal work. I do not know how they're going to do it in part 2. I have no idea what they have left to do in part 2. That's what's flooring me about this. We see the jump, the motorcycle jump that they've been advertising behind the scenes, and that still like scared the living daylights out of me. I was terrified for him. You know he makes it, obviously, but the way that he makes it is kind of funny. It's great. It's a lot more playful in part 1 just because, you know, they've been doing it for so long and you have to keep that humor in there so it doesn't turn like really sad very fast. Okay, in what they have to do in protecting their friends. Like it is just a coping mechanism for them to just add this humor, and Benji is just a doll in this. Okay, he's so fun. Where Luther's more emotional and really grounded for the entire team. So you have all 3 of them working together to make one whole person between Luther, Benji, and Ethan, because they've all have lost a lot of things. So I really like that they worked that in. But this train sequence, absolutely phenomenal. I like the storyline. I think the storyline's relevant. I think it is the best script that I've seen involving AI that makes complete sense for people. And also in the future, I'd like to do a drinking game to take a shot every time they mention the key. I will probably be gonzo by the end of this, because that was just the first thing I thought of doing afterwards, is to take a shot every time they said the key. So join me and we'll have some fun watching the rest of the Mission Impossible films. But yeah, this was stellar. Right now, because it is a part 1, it does end on a cliffhanger, but a clean, polished cliffhanger. It doesn't end abruptly like I thought it was going to, and that was my main worry here, and it didn't. It ended. They even say it in the end credits. It's like end of part 1, so I like that. It was polished. I'm sitting at a 4 out of 5. I would love to give it a 4.5, but there are some issues that I have with it, and I will get into it in my spoiler review. I'm going to do a breakdown and I'm going to do a ranking for the entire franchise, because right now I'm sitting at a 4 because it's incomplete as well. So if you guys enjoyed Dead Reckoning Part 1, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And if you guys want to help me grow this wonderful channel, you can find out ways to do that in the bio below. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.